So we all know that Resident Evil is the biggest game ever around the world. And so in this video, I just want to talk about the pop culture of it all and how big that Resident Evil is. And not only how big Resident Evil is, how it travels. Not only how it travels, how it also creates an allure to it, an aesthetic to it, and how video game characters kind of make people feel, some type of way. If for good like examples is Leon Kennedy, Leon Sexy Kennedy, or Claire Redfield, or Joel. Her name Julie. Is her name? I think it's like Julie or something like that. Correct me. Let me know in the comments and how just like Resident Evil as a whole became a pop culture phenomenon for breaking down thoughts, ideologies, cliches, and just overall creating that space where one can literally create any universe in their mind that they want to. And how Resident Evil created such an environment of fans, like I said, across the world, and how the new Resident Evil game, Resident Evil Requiem, might become the best game of 2026. Like, how does this game come out before GTA? And that's been highly anticipated. Well, we're gonna break that down in this video. So come on, my angels and future angels, let's talk about this. And yes, I do call my subscribers angels, so you're officially an angel. Hit that like button down below, comment, share, subscribe, and let's just get into the video of Resident Evil and how it's such the hottest topic of 2026.
We're running out of time.
Let's get into Resident Evil, how this game is the biggest phenomenon, and how it came to pass, and how this game created something so big and huge and major for generations to come since the 90s, all the way up to the early 2000s, all up to now, 2026. So, let's get into the drop of Resident Evil. That there's a person who sacrificed another student. Really? Who? Who took them out? Honestly, I don't know, but I think they're still alive. Really? And so let's get into the new Resident Evil game, Resident Evil Requiem, how it just dropped and how people feel about it, and just basically the overall gist of the aesthetics, the pop culture meaning behind it, as well as when people see sexy Leon Kennedy, how they feel on him. So let's get deeper into it and understand. Resident Evil, as a 2000s baby, that game, those movies, as a kid who always wanted to be in the entertainment industry, when I was younger, I would always recreate the scenes that I saw on on the TV, and even the movies. That one scene where Leon Sexy Kennedy was fighting on the zombies in the alley with other policemen, and they were just coming at an influx. Like, that was in the game, and that was also in the movie that came. I think it was the second one that came out in 2002. Right? Yeah, 2002, I believe. I'm gonna double check on that and put the right information here. But just by immersing yourself into this universe, you lose your absolute mind, and how Resident Evil breaks things down bar by bar, and how it's very different from the typical zombie-esque movie or TV show. Resident Evil is very different from pause. Actually, there's two shows that are like neck and neck in a way. So we have shows like The Walking Dead, slow moving zombies. Slow moving zombies, easy to kill, surprisingly took over the world in the Walking Dead series, but that's another conversation for another day. But these ones have like different variants. Some are like speed walking, I guess, climb walls, remember things, use objects. But that's just The Walking Dead. Like, they get that stuff from Left 4 Dead, or Dawn, or The Dead of Shaun of the Dead. So slow moving zombies are still kind of remembering their own past lives after a certain point, but I think like The Walking Dead got a little crazy with it. Then we have like World War Z zombies. We have World War Z zombies where they just run, use their bodies, ants, use their heads to smash and break windows. And then we also have Scorch Trail, which is the Maze Runner type of zombies. Regular zombies, But they do Scorched Tales, the Scorched Tales movies. They have zombies, but they equip The Last of Us with like hybrid, mutated type of zombies. That's more their speed. But when it comes to Resident Evil, they literally mutate your entire body. You get bit, you turn. You get bit, you're immune, or you get like injected with something. Next thing you know, you're turning into a giant ass monster. Like you're turning into a kaiju, basically. Like if like Resident Evil met Pacific Rim or met the Godzilla universe, you're turning into some giant who's titan monster, who's power hungry for the zombies, or you're turning into Professor X and you're still functioning, or you're a human ability or a super speed, something you can fly or grow wings. Like Resident Evil, they also do get crazy for a point, but they draw so much out the box where you're just like, am I watching a zombie movie or am I watching some alien sci-fi type of stuff? Like they take it to another level that's really appreciated, but it still keeps people drawn in and it still keeps people talking. And I feel that's a good marketing strategy on the end of the Resident Evil team and the creators of Resident Evil, because they know what they're doing when it comes to the fans and when it comes to designing this stuff and kind of concepts and things. And there's also a lot of drawbacks. Not bad drawbacks, good drawbacks, where they draw back from the past and bring it to the future. So it's kind of like past, future, future, past, future, future, past, present, and it's like present, future, past. Like it goes, it's a lot, but you gotta keep your mind up with it. And then one thing that always goes back to is Resident Evil and how, I mean, Resident Evil, they go back to Raccoon City where you basically are trying to stop another Raccoon City incident from happening. Evil has done a lot of things for a lot of different generations and ages. I literally was watching gameplay of someone playing a game, and it was a comment on YouTube that said, I remember when this game came out, I was like 16, 17, 16 years old, and I'm now 43, and seeing it change is drastically and it's amazing. And how it's literally creating memories for old heads. It's creating a memory for people who are like, yo, this game is still around. This game is still evolving. And I thought that's the beauty of it. Things change with time, and as things keep on going and going, you start to understand and see things that are like, this is really good. Like I really like it because it's funny when you see TV shows or video games evolve, you see the progression, how long they evolve, and how they didn't burn out. Because you see a lot of video games or TV show adaptation in video games, they get their momentum and then they burn out. And then once they burn out, it takes a while for them to get back. And then once they get back, people are like, what game is this? This is the same game. Like, I haven't heard of this. Like, they had to go back and rediscover, which is beautiful too. But having that longevity is for like a Resident Evil has had. You up there, like you building the ranks for yourself. You are from fundamental. I can't. It's my speech, English. The foundation. I would say foundation. The foundation that you build underneath it is amazing. You know, when you put the two fingers together, it's T. So that's as a huge Resident Evil fan. I love that, but you're probably like, okay, get off my screen now. Let's get back to the visuals. And just moving along to you see how the visuals are to this. You just briefly understand that the time and effort that's put into it and the realism versus how it was back in the 90s and the 2000s how video games were before. The evaluation of using humans as a machine, using humans as the go-getters and the drivers of the characteristics of the character and the actions and emotions, and how it's not just pixels and CGI and put together anymore. It's human pixels and CGI put together to create one hive mind, one unit. And that's the greatest thing about Resident Evil. You capture the emotions of the characters in this game. Other games do it too, but Resident Evil really carries it because you really feel the pain and the emotion of it all, truly. And so, my beautiful angels, watching this play out and behind the scenes, people playing the games, people's raw emotions, the jump scares, the tears, the cries, the sorrows, the pains. I want to know what you guys conclude about this as a whole, about Resident Evil, and how you feel about the game, the understanding from its start date, from its release back in the 90s, how big this really is, how it was a pop culture phenomenon and lasted for centuries and decades, and how some characters turn into lover boys and lover girls and iconic to this day, and how people reference it as like a number apocalypse type movie and a very big, huge survival defect and difference in the universe of entertainment and the gaming world for the gaming nerds and gaming fans out there. So this is just like my little tidbit on Resident Evil and how it really impacted the lives of pop culture. But without further ado, my beautiful angels, I hope you guys have a blessed day. And praise Yahushua for getting y'all up this morning, able to watch this video and be entertained. But other than that, be safe out there. I love you all. Peace.